If you've clicked on the link, then clearly you have an interest in knowing a little bit more about me. I thank you for that interest. I've done some interesting things. So here's a whistle-stop tour of my life so far. Our journey starts here. So I grew up in this place called Finchampstead, which is a suburb of Wokingham near Reading. Originally grew up there, and then we moved, about 1988, we moved to there. It's weird being back here. I rode my bike up and down this cul-de-sac many, many times, walked to school that way. That is my primary school, the aptly named 9 Mile Ride, because it's on a Roman road called 9 Mile Ride. That's only 7 miles long. Go figure. Sorry about the noise. That was Gowring's garage that I used to work many evenings and weekends as a young teenager, or middle teenager, trying to pay for my synthesizer habit. More on that later. Now on to my secondary school. So there is my secondary school, Embrook, on the other side of Wokingham. It's really strange being here. I can still smell the fish and chip shop we used to sneak out to on a lunchtime. But yeah, this is where I spent my formative years, learned lots and lots of very useful things, some of them academic. And after that, because I needed certain grades to get to university to do what I wanted to do there, I went to college and resat my A-levels. So we haven't even completed secondary school on this little journey of mine, and yet here I am in Royal Victoria Dock in the East End of London. And the reason I brought you here is because in 1988, whilst I was at secondary school, my life changed immeasurably. I didn't come from the happiest of households, didn't have the happiest of childhoods. I'm not going to pretend that it was awful. It certainly wasn't, but I was from a broken home and all the stresses that go with that. And at 13, I was very impressionable. And this place left that impression. Jean-Michel Jarre did his Docklands concerts here in October 1988. The place was derelict, absolutely derelict. And yet he put on this amazing show. And at that moment, I said to myself, that's what I want to do. And that's propelled me through the next 35 years of my life. It's why I went to college to study music. It's why I went to university to study music, acoustics and recording. And it's why I started my company. Because I love being part of the big event. And a number of years later, we were just over there for the opening ceremony of the Olympics, working on that. This place gave me something to latch onto, and a purpose, and a single-minded tunnel vision to pursue it as best I could. And it's taken me to great things around the world, amazing events. But enough of that for now. Let's carry on the journey. So this was my college, Henley College in Henley-on-Thames, opposite George Harrison's house. Again, learned many things here, resitting my A-levels, and before I went off to university. So my journey north to university, from leafy Henley in Oxfordshire to Salford, and I ended up here. So this was my university, the University of Salford. Spent 4 years here, did a degree in music, acoustics and recording, and a master's in creative technology. So whilst at the university, basically my company started here, because I got a call when I was eating my tea from a technician at the university. I was a first year student who said, do you want a job at the Manchester Evening News Arena, as it was at the time? And I said, oh, yes, please. And he said, right, be here in 20 minutes. So I got on my bike and I rode down this road and I got to the arena and there was a basketball show going on. And I became part of the crew that worked on that basketball show and the ice hockey shows. firing off bits of video and audio for the crowd to dance to, and I worked my way around the crew and did directing, camera mopping, sound, vision, and got to know people, and eventually that developed into my freelancing career in broadcast, and that developed into Cloudbase when I got to the University of Derby to teach, and I set Cloudbase up with a couple of my students. So the first contract for my company was with these guys, Manchester United. We filmed countless, hundreds of football games for them and several victory parades. So after university, I spent some time living here in beautiful Buxton, whilst working at the University of Derby as a lecturer. After my time at Salford University as an undergrad and postgrad, I came to teach here at the University of Derby. I was a lecturer in music technology and program leader in multimedia technology and music production. And it's here that I started up my company proper, Cloudbase, with a couple of students, because we were involved in an event called Modulus that I set up, which got us doing things out of hours, and worked really well to find some great people who I then worked with to set the company up. But I learned a lot here, teaching and about education in general and higher education. You heard me mention at the start of the video about my synthesizer habit. And if you don't get help at an early age, this is where you end up. I've been making music ever since those Docklands concerts in 1988, and all the music you've heard on this video I've made over the years, and I continue to make music in my spare time to relax. You can find some links to my music in the description below. And this is where we've ended up, my company Cloudbase. So come with me, I'll show you briefly what it's all about. I find it quite exciting, to be honest. It's being part of that big event again. Come with, come with. Just walk through the offices here, and I'll take you down and show you a truck, which will be doing many things, has done many things, but we're doing many things this year. So here we go. This is our OB10 and is one of the biggest trucks in Europe. This is the sound area where a sound supervisor will sit and mix the sound, and it's sound that I primarily started in. And then we walk through to the gallery area, which is where there'll be many things on these screens, many cameras coming in, many different sources. And a director and a production team would sit here and decide what goes to where. And it's our company's job to provide the technical facilities and make this work. So this area here would have this bench come forward, so there'll be 2 benches of people. There's another area in the back where production people can sit. And then we go through to the engineering area, which is where our vision team sits. They make the truck work from a vision point of view, bring the cameras in and rack them. And if we walk through this way, we go into a VT area. So this is not in deployed mode at the moment, so the desks are still up. But this is where replay ops and people like that would sit, running replays into all sorts of events. But yes, and then walk through here, back into the gallery. But as I say, this is one of the biggest trucks in Europe, and this will be doing the King's Coronation this year and Glastonbury Pyramid Stage in UHD HDR. I love to be part of the big event, and this is what makes it happen. Very exciting. There it is, 48 years of my life in under 10 minutes, and I seem to have landed here in a beautiful village just north of Derby. I've been in Derbyshire now for nearly a quarter of a century. It's the place I call home. I do love it here, and I've settled with my wonderful wife and 3 amazing children. Thank you for taking the time to find out a little bit more about me. I hope it's been informative.